My name is Mary Overby with Small Business Majority, and we have Laura Stebbins with Opportunity Finance Network here with us today. And they are a CDFI organizer. Wealth of information that's going to be passed on today, and we just really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to join us. We know you're all very, very busy. This is National Small Business Week, and it is dedicated to you all as small business owners, and so we're really happy that you chose to be a part of our day as well. So a little bit about Small Business Majority and why we're here with you today, why we're bringing you this webinar. We are a small business focused organization. We do focus on both education and advocacy. So education on a variety of topics, as you can see down there in that third bullet. We don't just talk about access to capital. We really focus on issues that are of top importance to small business. The way that we develop those topics is actually by talking to small business owners. We conduct independent research nationwide, and we find out sort of where your gaps in resources are and maybe how we can come in to help fill those for free. That is our goal, is to provide those issues to you at no cost. We are a national organization. As you can see, we have 10 offices there, including in Washington, D.C., which is sort of the arm of our advocacy portion of our organization. We reach directly to the legislators, and we also help on the state and local levels. So if you are interested in any of that, please let us know. We're always looking for small business owners who'd like to have their voice heard at that local, state, or national level. We are located in states across the country. Hopefully you see your state there. If not, let us know, and we'd love to bring somebody to your area if possible. I'm in Missouri. Right now we are flooded like crazy. If you've heard anything about Missouri, basically you can't come to Missouri right now, not where I am. So hope you guys are safe and having a good day, and your businesses are not being affected by natural disasters. So I mentioned that we support our work and develop our topics by education through our research. This is sort of how our organization is built, our model. We start with that polling, then we partner with business groups like Opportunity Finance Network to bring these seminars. We also do a lot of stuff locally. We do roundtables. And we do these in-person presentations. If you are in one of those states that you saw on that previous slide, do feel free to reach out to your local representative with Small Business Majority, and they might be able to present on some of this for your business or your organization there at the local level. We do a lot of networking. That is a large portion of our job, is getting one-on-one with small business owners. And we like to make sure that we get those voices, as we said, in our network in the media. We do that advocacy at the state, local, and national level. That's sort of how we make sure that the work that we're doing on the ground level is being heard at the national level. So today is a really great day. Like I said, it is the smack dab in the middle of National Small Business Week. Hopefully you've been able to get a lot of really great education this week from the organizations such as SBA or your SCORES or SBTDCs that are just doing really great stuff out there. And hopefully today is a good complement for what you've learned throughout the week and what you have planned for the rest of your week. So we are going to talk today about, really we're going to focus on when you go to seek funding as a small business owner, how do you prepare for that? What kind of questions do you need to ask yourself and also your lenders? We're going to talk about the funding landscape. We're going to talk about CDFIs, and then we're really going to focus on CDFIs because they are a magnificent resource for you as a small business owner. And if you're not familiar with them, by the end of this webinar, you should be, and you should be gung-ho about going to visit them because it's a really great resource for you. We are going to hit on some of the other sources of capital for small businesses today. SBA, we're going to talk about some of your local lenders, and then we're going to talk about online lenders, which is a really new field that opened up opportunities and possibilities for small businesses. And then we're going to talk about how to protect yourself as a small business, and some of those questions you should ask specifically from the Borrower's Bill of Rights that has been put together and is at a national level. So to get started, we're going to talk about why, I said we based a lot of our stuff on research, and what did we hear that really caused us to make access to capital one of our key topics, one of the core components of our organization. What we found is that 90% of the small businesses say that the availability of credit is a problem, and the majority of those say it's a fairly serious or a serious problem. As a small business owner, we all know that the availability of capital is crucial. You have to have money to start, to grow, and then to survive. So if you don't have access to that capital, how do you continue to be a part of your economy and really be able to grow and to sustain yourself? What they have is that the small business bank lending is down 20% since before the Great Recession in 2008-2009. And I'll show you a graph here in just a little bit on what that looks like, on how often people are actually being able to be approved by those loans when they go into a larger bank. What our research has found additionally is that women and minority-owned firms do face significant barriers, typically because they're smaller or they have less capital to begin with, and maybe they don't have the credit that is needed from some of the organizations. So we've focused a lot, and a lot of the organizations that we work with do have special funding available for these populations. So if you are a woman or minority-owned firm, do find out what kind of resources are available for you, because we want to make sure that you have what you need to succeed as well. So the good news, we all know that access to capital is not as easy to get right now, and it hasn't been for quite a few years. But the good news is that moving forward, there are so many more options available than ever before to help you start and grow your business. So we're going to talk about some of these. We obviously do not have time to talk about all of them. We're really going to focus on that last column because that is some of the newer ones. One of the ones I want to point out here that we're not going to talk about is the incubators and accelerators. If you are near an SBTDC, I do encourage you to find out if they have an incubator and accelerator program if you're in the startup phase, because it's a really wonderful opportunity for you to not only have access to capital, but also access to the resources that are provided by SBTDCs, as well as a team environment, because there are other small businesses in the startup phase or in the growth phase that are in those incubators that you can feed off of their energy and off of their knowledge. So a lot of these we already know. In research, we found that most people start up by utilizing family and friends or personal and business credit cards, maybe their personal savings. 401ks tends to be a really common way that people have funding for their business, pulling out of one of those. If you talk to a retirement specialist, they will gasp if they tell you that. I say we a lot in this presentation. My husband and I are small business owners, and that is how we started our business. And I just did a presentation with some retirement specialists, and I thought they were going to have a heart attack on that. So do be careful when you're starting your business on that. Access to capital. Now we're going to go into key questions. So this is really important for when you're starting your journey to find money for your business. When you talk to any lender, they want you to come in prepared. These are some of the questions that you need to know before you walk into the door of a regular bank or a community bank, or before you sit down on the phone with an online lender representative. You need to know what you need the money for. So when you make your business plan or your funding plan, financial plan, you need to say, I may want A, B, and C, but which of them do I actually need? And how much do I need? How much does A cost? How much does B cost? And how much does C cost? If you walk into a lender and you say, well, I need money, and they're going to say, what for? First thing. and they're going to say how much, and you're going to say, well, I don't know, I think maybe I need $25,000. And then when you actually get to talking about it, you realize you may only need $15,000. So you need to know that before you walk in. It's going to increase your chances of receiving your funding, and not only that, it's going to increase your capability of paying that back. And that leads to our third question: how long will it take you to pay it back? How much can you afford to pay back per month? So is it going to be, does it need to be a 1-year loan, a 3-year loan, or a 5-year loan? And what is the current financial shape of your business? A lot of lenders are going to ask for the past 3 months of bank statements so they can see your incoming and outgoing finances. So have that prepared and ready to go. You know, we own a landscaping business, so the current financial shape of our business looks very different in March than it does in September. So when we apply for funding, we normally do it in September because that's when our current financial shape of our business is much more significant and looks a lot better on paper. So knowing what your business looks like, if you have slump months and if you have high months, or if you're just a sustained business, knowing what that looks like. How long have you been in business? A lot of the places that we're going to talk about today do have length of business requirements. Some of them require 2 years, some of them require 3 to 5, and some will take you if you're brand new. But a lot of them will want collateral. So walking in prepared, knowing what kind of collateral you do have available, can increase your chances of getting that funding. We have an equipment inventory list that we maintain at all times. So as new weed eaters come in or new mowers and old mowers go out, we update that equipment list, who has a lien on it, if it's paid off, and in that way, if we need to access capital for any kind of large equipment or machinery that breaks down, we already have that collateral done. We have it ready to go, and we can just hand that to our funder. Now, the next one is really important, and we're going to talk about this multiple times today, which is how quickly do you need the money? So sometimes you need the money today. As business owners, we have pieces of equipment that are essential. If you own a t-shirt printing press and you have a large order that's due by Friday, if you don't replace that printing press, you're going to lose out on thousands of dollars. So you need that money immediately. Some lenders that we're going to talk about are a long application process, and some of them are very short turnaround time. So by knowing how quickly you need that, it's really going to help you determine which funding source is the best for you. And then, are you seeking the debt or equity financing? Debt financing is the most common, and that's normally what you're going to utilize, but sometimes that equity will be what you are looking at. All right, so now we're going to get into the meat and bones of this presentation, the good stuff, which is finding out more about the sources for capital. I'm going to do just a quick intro for Lauren here, and then you guys are going to get to hear our really, really great presentation on the Venturize program and how this can benefit you. But just as a quick introduction to CDFIs, that's Community Development Financial Institutions. These guys offer loans normally smaller than $250,000. This is specific to each CDFI. So I know that the one that I work with most often here in Missouri, called Justine Peterson, they normally do less than $50,000. So it really depends on how much funding the CDFI that's closest to you has, and Lauren is going to talk about all of this a lot more. So I'm just going to fly through that actually. But CDFIs are geographically specific, and they do offer microloan programs. So it's a really important thing to remember. A lot of places won't offer small $500 loans. It's just not beneficial for them. CDFIs are a resource to do that. They often have very competitive rates, and they are great for business owners who aren't able to secure traditional bank loans. So if you're a startup or if you are someone who maybe has bad credit, they oftentimes work with you to actually increase your credit. They'll have credit building programs. That falls into that additional business technical assistance support bucket right there, and they're really there to make sure that the local economy succeeds. They may not be able to meet your needs, some of those cons there. So if you're looking for a large $500,000 loan or $1 million loan, this isn't going to be what's right for you. And often they do require personal collateral. Okay, so as you can see, every time I do this presentation, I talk about Opportunity Finance Network. And I refer people to Opportunity Finance Network because they can put you in touch with a CDFI near you. Not only that, they have a multitude of resources. And luckily for all of you on here today, we're actually now going to hear from Opportunity Finance Network with the creator of the Venturize program, Lauren Stebbins. And Lauren, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Mary. I just want to say I'm really excited to be here with you all today to talk a little bit about Opportunity Finance Network and then to really delve into one of our programs called Venturize. So as Mary just told you, OFN, we are a national nonprofit organization, and specifically we're a membership organization of CDFIs. Our membership consists of a bit over 240 CDFIs across the country, working everywhere in urban areas, rural areas, even on tribal reservations, and offering all different types of financing, not just small business products, but also consumer loans and mortgages, and also helping providing loans that help to develop affordable housing and health clinics and stuff like that. So we have a very diverse membership in that sense, but regardless of that, we actually have, I would say, about half of our members at least do some level of small business financing or microlending. So, really helping to support and invest small businesses are, that's a huge priority among a lot of CDFIs across this country. And so, as Mary mentioned, CDFIs are really helpful, particularly for providing small business loans for startup businesses or businesses that may have been financially underserved or unable to secure bank financing. So, as a national organization of CDFIs, we try to offer our members programs and initiatives that help them do their work better. And so, also, as Mary talked about earlier, after the recession, lots of things happened in terms of small business lending. Bank lending to small businesses decreased. Some small businesses suffered lots of financial damages because of, damaged credit scores or the, value in their collateral declining. And another thing that she mentioned as well is that there was also an emergence of online alternative lenders. So lenders that you access them, solely online. You can often get funding from them in a short period of time, and this has opened up a whole new set of possibilities for small business owners. Some of which are really, really good and helpful, and then some of which have not been as great or helpful. Lots of CDFIs in our network will tell their borrowers and clients to, just be, educate yourself, be aware of the different types of online lenders out there, because some of them, some of those loans do come with really high interest rates and unclear repayment terms, and they could have a negative impact on a business's bottom line. And so because our members were funneling this kind of information to us, making us aware of some instances in which, some businesses took out an online loan and it really damaged the business to the point where they almost had to close the business. Because we were seeing such a mixed bag of both, successful business owners and also, business owners that were harmed by this new type of lending. OFN wanted to respond by creating Venturize, which is a public awareness and public education campaign around the different types of small business financing options that are out there. And the campaign is designed not to just be sort of an educational resource, but it's also designed to go a step further and help equip small business owners with the information that they need to make the best decision for their business. So when we were designing and formulating the Venturize program, we thought we could do this in a number of ways. We could hold a set of in-person workshops across the country. We could produce tons of videos. We could do a big print advertising campaign. But given, as I mentioned, given that there has been an emergence of online alternative lenders, and that has kind of helped spur the fact that lots of small business owners are going online to at least learn about options or to actually take out a loan from an online lender, we figured let's try to meet small business owners where they're going, and that's why we decided to create Venturize in the form of a digital campaign that's anchored by our website, venturize.org. So venturize.org, it's a free, easy-to-use, mobile-friendly platform that provides small business owners with clear and straightforward information about different types of small business loans and also about the borrowing process. As I mentioned, Venturize is designed to help small businesses decide what types of loans and financing are going to work best for them. We're not here to tell you, what's good, what's bad, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. It's really to just provide small business owners with just information and knowledge and a sense of, what are some of the key differences between different types of products, and also what are the kinds of things that you'll need to know to apply for a loan, so that ultimately the decision is yours and you're able to make a confident and informed decision. And so Venturize is a completely free resource. Anyone can access it. Just go to venturize.org and you can immediately start learning about different types of lenders, learning about different types of loan products, and using our tools to actually help you get a bit prepared for embarking on the borrowing process. The program is designed for all small business owners, but we do have a couple target demographics of small businesses, particularly those owned by women and people of color, because as Mary mentioned earlier, those are two segments of small business owners that have historically had more trouble accessing affordable forms of financing for their business for just a large amount of reasons. And so with this campaign that we launched back in 2016, in June of 2016, we had a goal to engage about 250,000 small business owners through the campaign, and specifically through the website, by 2017. And we're really thrilled because we exceeded that goal, and by quite a bit. We as of the end of last year, December 2016, we had engaged about 335,000 small business owners through this campaign. So now I'm going to shift gears just a little bit and go over some key tools and resources that the Venturize site can offer small business owners. So this first tool is what we call the loan calculator tool. It's kind of the most visible and most featured tools that we have on the site. You'll find it if you go to the Venturize homepage. You'll see it right smack dab in the middle there, venturize.org. And you'll see this box that can tell you to compare your loan options. And you click on that yellow button, and then you'll see this. You'll see these 4 bars, and you can't see the questions very well because it's this is a screenshot. But essentially, these are 4 really basic questions about what your financing needs are. It's how much money you need, what your credit score is, how many years you've been in business, and your timeline for needing the money. And so you can adjust those bars to fit the range that fits your needs. And at the bottom you'll see a blue button that says Show Me My Options. And once you click on that blue button, you'll see a page that looks like this. It's going to spit out these white boxes that have a short paragraph about different types of loan products that may work best for you. And so this tool is designed to just help a small business owner figure out within seconds, get a sense of like, okay, if this is what I need, what are the types of products that I may want to, pursue from, whatever lender I talk to. And it will, like I said, give you a brief overview, just a simple paragraph. There's some icons on the side that indicate, whether or not the credit score requirements are high, or if the wait times are high, if the interest rates are low, just to kind of help you figure out very quickly, does this product sound right? Is this the type of financing that I want to ask a lender about? So the next resource I want to just quickly talk about is Borrowing 101. So if you were to access Venturize from the home page, you'll see a section at the top that actually, it says Borrowing 101 very clearly on the top menu bar. And if you click on that, you'll find that there's two sections. There's types of lenders, and then there's types of loans. And then you can click on the individual types. So this is, a big meaty piece of the website. This is where you can actually go and just browse kind of, a lot of the different types of lenders and loans that are out there for, small businesses, and get a sense of, what they are and what their differences are. And, if you were to click through to any one of these options, you'll get a nice concise paragraph. You're not going to get bombarded with like tons of text, that's going to take you super long time to get through. We really designed this website very purposefully so that we can really convey the essentials about each type of these options in a concise and clear way, so that small business owners who are often pressed for time can make decisions clearly but feel confident in those decisions because they know the basics. So the next resource I want to talk about is our loan application checklist. And Mary kind of touched on some of the stuff earlier, which is great because, often you may not know all the different types of materials that you may need to apply for a loan. So if you want to make sure that you're prepared and you have a sense of, what's going to be expected of you to apply for financing, you can check out this, very simple checklist on our website. It simply just it's a list that goes over all the different types of materials and documents that you'll need for applying for a loan. So each, items on this list include information about business plans, personal credit report, financial statements, business and personal tax returns. And in some cases, when you click on an item on the list, there may be a link to go to an external website to learn even more. So very simple, very easy, but a very valuable tool that can really help small business owners at least understand like what's it going to take for me to apply for a loan from my bank or apply for a loan from a CDFI. And then the last resource that I want to talk briefly about is borrowing preparation questions. And on the website, we call this tool Ask the Right Questions. Again, another really simple, super straightforward tool. It's simply a list. There's actually two lists. One list is questions that you may want to ask a lender, when the time comes to have that meeting, to talk to them about, different options you may qualify for. And then the second list is a list of questions that the lender is likely to ask you. So again, this is just a very simple prep tool to help small business owners have an idea of what to expect when they go into that meeting with a lender, whether or not that lender is a bank, a CDFI, an online alternative lender, or some other type of lender. So that was a brief overview of some of our most featured tools and most pertinent tools for small business owners on the website. But there's even more, and this is just a quick list of all the different types of resources we offer on Venturize.org. There are two different types of APR, annual percentage rate calculators. There's a calculator to figure out the interest rate on a sort of classic term loan, and then there's another calculator where you can estimate the APR for a merchant cash advance product. So those could be two really useful tools for small business owners to just really give you a sense of, what's this loan going to cost me? Like once all the fees plus the interest rate are factored in, how much interest, am I really paying on this loan? Another tool we have is the lending glossary. Again, very simple and straightforward. It's simply just a glossary of terms pertaining to the lending world and loan applications, so that you're fully familiarized with what different types of documents are and what other types of terms that pertain to the lending process mean. One of the newer features on the site is our blog that we cleverly named Invent. And so this is just a site, a portion of the site where you can sort of learn about different types of news stories or just developments pertaining to small business lending and the types of small business support services that are out there. And we, Venturize being a program of OFN, we curate stories that really help bring attention to the work of CDFIs and to the work of other types of organizations and lenders that support small business owners with both affordable and responsible loans and also helpful technical support services. So the content that you'll find on our blog is diverse, but we really do try to highlight what some more mission-driven small business support organizations are doing out there. Another feature we have on the website is the story uploader. So if you actually are a small business owner and you're interested in sort of being featured on our blog, you can upload a story about your personal experiences with finding financing for your business. You could talk about some advice that you have for other small businesses out there that are looking for financing, and you can upload a photo with it as well. And we'd love to feature these types of stories on our blog so that small business owners coming to the Venturize site can learn from you and learn about how you went about this process and the things that worked well and the things that you would have done differently. Another feature we have is a CDFI locator map, and I'll show a quick screenshot of that in just a minute. And this is where you can go on the Venturize site and actually find a CDFI in your community. It's a really great, easy-to-use interactive map. You can simply type in your state or your zip code or your city, and then once submitting that, you'll see a few red pins pop up on the screen in the area that you're searching for, and you can click on those pins to see which CDFI is located there. And there's information to contact the CDFI, including their phone number and also their website to learn more about that particular CDFI. And then lastly, another sort of component of the website is the Spanish version. We wanted to make sure that Venturize is not only a free tool, but a very accessible one. And so most of the site, not every single feature, but most of the site, the large majority of it, is translated into Spanish. And if you go on the website, you'll actually see towards the top of the page there'll be an Espanol toggle that you just click on, and it takes you directly to the Spanish version of your site, of the site. So this is a screenshot of the CDFI locator map that I just mentioned. This one is zoomed in on Philadelphia, which is where Opportunity Finance Network is located. And it just, all these red pins kind of show you where CDFI is within the area. And below you'll see a listing of those CDFIs that are being represented on the screen through those red pins. So you'll see their website, and you can click on the website to learn more about them and the types of products that and services that they could offer you. So I'm about to wrap up here, but I do want to encourage everyone to, if you want to stay updated with the latest of what we're working on and what we're doing and the types of news and information we're sharing, please follow us on social media. Follow at Venturize.org on both Facebook and Twitter. Please share, our posts, like our posts, send us comments. engage with us. We want to hear from you. We want to know what types of resources on our site are helpful, what other types of resources we could develop that would be even more helpful. What do you think about the types of news and whatnot that we're sharing with our audience? So, please follow us. We'd love to hear from you. And then lastly, this is just my contact information, so please feel free to shoot me an email if you have questions and want to learn more, or again, if you have any feedback on the site or thoughts about other types of resources that we could, add to Venturize. I'd be more than happy to hear it and take your feedback and, do whatever I can to make this an even more valuable tool for small business owners. And we do have a quarterly newsletter that goes out to Venturize subscribers, just updating them on new features that are going to be added or new types of content that are going to be added to the site. So feel free to go to venturize.org, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you can sign up for email updates. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Mary.
Lauren, thank you so much. That every time I look at those slides, it's just a wealth of information that you guys are providing small business owners, and it's just even more obvious to me why we refer people to you guys. Sometimes it's very hard to find quality information as a small business owner, especially, there's so many promotional and sales programs out there, so it's really nice having all that in a streamlined format and available to us. So when you go on Venturize, you're going to learn more about these programs, especially if they're ones like once you've done the question answer portion, they pop up on your screen that maybe they're right for you. So we're going to go through some of these additional programs and talk about them and just give you a little bit of an idea. So when you go to Venturize or anything like that, you have sort of a base knowledge that you can then expand on. So we talked about CDFIs. Another really great resource for small businesses is SBA. And hopefully all of you are familiar with SBA, but if you're not, that is the U.S. Small Business Administration. They have national offices, but they also have regional and district offices. So you'll have somebody in a location near you who is available to work one-on-one with you as a small business owner and help guide you through the application process, and help find a lender that works right for you. SBA itself is not a lender, but they are a guarantor, which basically says that you have went through their application process, which is very extensive, and that they have determined that you are not a risky lender, and to do, in order to get that funding to come in, they're going to back you, and if you don't pay it back, they will. So they really do work with a wide variety of business owners, including startups. Not a lot of the lenders will work with startups, so this is a really good opportunity for a startup. They'll help you sit down and write your business plan and make sure that you have everything in working order. They will do loans for working capital as well as inventory and real estate. There are two main programs, are the Advantage and Grow Loan program. Previously, that was 7A and CDC 504. Those aren't fun names, so they changed them last December. So now you're going to hear the Advantage and Grow Loan as their most common. They do have programs for microloans and disaster relief, as well as export assistance and veterans and military benefits. That's one of their key areas, is helping veterans start small business and grow their small business. Right now, with spring upon us, there's a lot of disaster relief programs out there. So if you're in Missouri and your business was affected by the flooding, for example, then you might want to talk to your SBA to see what kind of programs they have available. So SBA, since they are a large organization and they're working with those local lenders that provide the SBA loans, they are able to get you very competitive rates. Having the SBA behind you really says that you're a trustworthy business and that you deserve that low interest rate. They also do longer loan terms. That's especially helpful for somebody starting out who maybe doesn't have a lot of income coming in yet. So having that smaller monthly payment might be exactly what you need until you can start getting those bigger monthly sums in. You also won't see any balloon payments. You're going to have the same rate the entire time. And like I said, you are going to have somebody work directly with you to gather all your documentation and go through that checklist. They do have, I think I mentioned, longer loan application times. It is not an easy process, which is why they have somebody work with you. And it's very intensive because they are making sure that by backing you and guaranteeing that you will pay back, that you have went through that process. So if you're looking for a quick turnaround time on a loan, this is not going to be the process that you need to go through. Now, they will do a lot of the business counseling on the front end. So if you have time to wait and you need that help with the counseling, I highly recommend you speaking with them. They also have a mentor program called SCORE. They'll pair you with someone who can really help you with specifically the needs that you have. So if it's a financing need or a business plan writing need or maybe accounting, SCORE will provide actually put you with somebody who can help you with that. And I mentioned the SBTDCs and SBDCs as well as women business centers as well. They provide a lot of resources. Community banks and credit unions are a resource that are often underlooked by local small businesses. Community banks are heavily invested in the local economy, and they're really dedicated to making sure that the small business succeeds, mainly because in order for them to succeed, their local economy has to succeed. They have a lot of opportunities directly for small business because they understand that small business is the backbone of a local economy. Credit unions as well, they are often not-for-profits, and you must become a member. So if you qualify for membership at a credit union, you do want to make sure before you go in that they do offer small business loans, because not all of them do. But if you look at the chart on this side there, both Lauren and I talked about, before the recession, big banks, the lending has went down a lot. So in 2014, 20% of small businesses that walked into a big bank walked out with a loan, whereas 50% of the small business owners that walked into a community bank walked out with the loan request that they requested, and 43% for credit unions. So they have a much higher percentage rate of actually approving your loan than you would going through a big bank. Some pros for community banks and credit unions: they often have lower interest rates and longer loan terms, which means that smaller monthly premium, commitment to a local community, and they have great customer service and personal touch. We bank at a community bank for our business needs, and they know our kids' names, they know our bank accounts, they know which check goes into which checking account and where to take it from, and they're there for us whenever we need them. So if you're looking for that personal touch, that might be exactly where you need to go. Some of the cons: they do have longer application times, and they have limited flexibility. Oftentimes they're working with third-party underwriters. The underwriting is not done in-house. So they are having to abide by those outside underwriting regulations. So maybe they're working with USDA or another bank or whatever. So that often creates sort of a dilemma for them. They do often have high hurdles. Sometimes you have to be in business for 2+ years. Maybe you needed to have been a prior customer or client. They will look at your personal credit as well as your business credit if you have some, but really they're going to focus on your personal, and often they're going to require collateral. And sometimes they are going to have less range of products and technology than big banks because they're smaller, and so therefore they may not have the variety that you need. There's some resources down there at the bottom to where you can go and find a credit union or a community bank near you. I highly encourage you to talk to ones in your local area and find out if they can help fit your access to capital needs as a small business. So we're going to move into the alternative lending options. As Lauren mentioned, there are just an enormous amount of new resources available online for business, and some of that is good and some of it is bad. And so we really want to caution you that you need to really do your research if you're looking at online lenders and make sure you're very, very comfortable with what you're getting into. But know that there are a lot of positives with this online lending process. We have a simple, streamlined application process, often quick approvals. So these are ones that if you need business or if you need cash in the next day or so, oftentimes you'll see 24 to 48 hours in order to deliver the funds into your bank account and have it ready for you to utilize. It is use of technology, so you don't have to go anywhere to actually complete your application. You're doing it on your computer or maybe over the phone with a customer service representative. So it's much easier to access than having to take paperwork to the bank. They do utilize often, though, instead of just your credit in order to go for their approvals, they do often use your social data. So they will look at if you have eBay or your social media history. They'll look at a lot of different factors that aren't utilized by traditional lenders. Online lending is largely unregulated right now. And a lot of that is because there's so many new ones that pop up on a regular basis. It's highly difficult to regulate everything because there's so many changes. One thing to watch out for is interest rates. Of course, you're typically going to see a lot higher, and I think that comes with anything, if it's too good to be true, there's always a catch there. So that's our catch, is that on a lot of this is you're going to see a really high interest rate. And not all online lenders are equal, and some are going to mask hidden rates, hidden fees, and some things that really you need to be prepared for on the front end. Online marketplace lenders, these are guys that are really going to provide you those term loans. It's very similar to traditional bank loans. They have their APR set up there. They are focused on transparency and pricing and the process. So some examples of places like this are Funding Circle, Lending Club, Prosper, and Fundera. So if you are looking for something that's very similar to a bank loan, but you don't necessarily want to go into the bank, this is sort of where you would start with your process. Online cash flow lenders are places like On Deck and Cabbage, and this is where you start getting into more of the be cautious, because you really have to make sure that you have the funding and the capital available in your bank account to maintain the repayment system for these online cash flow lenders. These are short-term loans, and so normally you're looking at 6 to 12-month payback, but the interest rate is extremely high. So maybe you get a $15,000 loan, you're going to pay back $19,000, and you're going to pay it all back within 12 months. The way that the payments are made on these, we're all very used to making monthly payments and paying your monthly premium and doing those sort of things. With online cash flow lenders, they make daily deductions. So maybe it's a Monday through Friday. They're going to take a set amount directly out of your bank account. So maybe it's $75 that every Monday through Friday will be automatically deducted from your bank account. If you are a business that goes through a slump period and you know that you're not going to have that money in your bank account, this is something you need to be very, very cautious of. These are some of your quick turnaround time loans, so they are often available in 24 to 48 hours, but you really need to make sure that you're capable of making that daily payment before you move forward. When we talked about the questions there at the beginning, it said, what is your current financial state? This is one that you really need to know how your current finances look before you move forward. Merchant cash advances, these are ones you need to be very cautious about. These are your payday loans for small businesses, basically. So merchant cash advances are very quick turnaround time for you to receive the funds. So there's a need for them. There's a reason they exist. There are points in time as a business owner where you need money today in order to do a job and make money tonight. So you have to be ready for these kind of loans, but they are needed at times. If you're thinking about getting that merchant cash advance, make sure that you know all of the fees and all of the underwriting, and really pay attention to your interest rate and your payback methods. They normally take a percentage of your credit card sales every day, and so that's every day you're open. If you're open 7 days a week, they'll take money from your account 7 days a week. If you make $50 in sales in that day, maybe they take 10%, they'll take $5. But if you make $5,000 that day, they'll take $500. So you really just have to be aware of the terms and the fees, and know how long it's going to take you to pay this one back, because it will take a big chunk of your daily income in. They should be a last resort, so make sure, Venturize is, as Lauren said, is a really, really good resort. If you are thinking that you need an MCA, the first thing you should do instead is go to Venturize and plug in those questions and see what other options they have available for you. You do not want to directly go to an MCA without having researched the other options. These are, options that are going to come at you with aggressive advertising, fast cash, no credit score, no collateral needed. What you need to know as a business owner is that there are other opportunities that will work with you if you have no credit score. They will help you build your credit score. CDFIs are great for that. So by going to someplace like Venturize, you're going to have that knowledge as well. Proper cash flow planning is highly recommended, and like I said, review all of those fees, terms, and penalties. Once again, go to Venturize first, and this should be your last resort, but know that it is an option if you need it. Another option that's out there that has become very popular is crowdfunding. And crowdfunding is Kickstarter, Indiegogo. You develop a campaign, and then you put it out there, and people give you money. They give you small amounts of money instead of getting a larger loan. These are a lot of fun and really great for startups especially. Okay, so predatory lending. Now I'm going to go over this super fast because Lauren actually hit on this, and we've got some questions come in that I want to get to. If you go online to our website, the Small Business Borrowers Bill of Rights is there. We developed this last year with online lenders, and they said that if you as a business owner are going in to have a loan, then you have the right to be treated fairly by the lender. And so all of the borrowers that have signed on to this at responsiblebusinesslending.org have agreed to abide by these 6 guiding principles. Not all lenders have signed on to that, but that doesn't mean that they're not a good lender. So how do you find out if they're a good lender? Lauren has questions. She showed you how they have questions for this on their website, on the Venturize website as well. The Small Business Borrowers Bill of Rights also does. So as you're going in, there's a checklist on our website that you can print off as well if you're talking to an online lender, or if you're talking to a loan officer at a bank. This is a really good checklist to print off and take in with you, and make sure you ask all of these questions. This really ensures that you know what you're getting into, how much it's going to cost you in the end, and if it's going to benefit or hurt your business. These are the organizations that helped us put together that Business Borrowers Bill of Rights. As I mentioned, there are a lot of resources and tools out there. Comparison shopping, we need to get Venturize on here for sure. That is going to be our new go-to resource. I know at least I'm going to be talking about that a lot. We also have social media that you can get involved with, as well as a newsletter and all of that stuff. There's my contact. Lauren, I'm going to have you come back on because we had a couple of questions come in specifically for you, and I want to make sure you have a second to answer those. We've got 3 minutes. Can you come back on for me?
I'm here.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we had a question come in that says, can you apply for a loan through Venturize?
That's a great question. And right now you can. Right now, Venturize is simply about educating small business owners and helping them prepare to apply for loans. So it doesn't have any sort of way to apply for a loan for your business through either a CDFI or bank, but we are looking into possibly adding a feature that would help connect small business owners that want to apply for CDFI loans to CDFI. So stay tuned. We may have something like that coming up in the future.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we did get this question a couple of times, as we always do, and I want to go over this one. I know this is our most common question. Will you be sharing the presentation with attendees? Yes, absolutely. You're going to get a copy of Lauren's slide deck after this presentation in an email, along with a link to a survey, and that's how you get our presentation, the full Access to Capital presentation. And then we also recorded today's webinar, and it will be available on both our sites, on our YouTube channel. Okay, so Lauren, one last one we have time for. This is another really great one that came in. What are some new features or content Venturize plans on adding to their website?
That's a really good one. Well, I'm really actually excited to say that we are adding some new videos to the site really soon, in early June. We have actually gone out to a few small businesses, and we've done some video shoots with them talking about their experiences with finding financing and their successes and their challenges along the way. So we wanted to do this to really provide a more sort of engaging type of media that can speak to small business owners that visit our site about what other small business owners have done and how they've tackled this problem. So yeah, that's a great question. So those videos will be coming out pretty soon. So please check the site in early June, and we're really excited about it.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do for small business. Obviously, you guys are listening to the business owners and saying, what do we need? And you're working to fill those gaps in the resources, and we really appreciate that. And thank you for joining us today during National Small Business Week. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. It is 2 o'clock on the dot, so we're going to let you all get back to your extremely busy days. Thank you so much for joining us today. This concludes our National Small Business Week webinar, and we will now be stopping the meeting and the recording. Thank you. Have a great day.